Hello, everybody. If I could ask you to take a seat, because it's just past 5 o'clock and Carolyn is a woman who likes to be on time. Hello. Are they all reserved at the front? No. Yeah, and come to the front. Perfect. Everyone's been very compliant and they're all sitting down and we're just waiting for you now. You're coming up the lift. Okay, good. Don't rush on our account. Okay, see you soon. Now, is there so the tech guy will just do the internet stuff, right? The webs. And I understand the live streaming has started. If you're somewhere out there on the World Wide Web waiting for us, we're just a few minutes behind schedule, but we will get cracking any moment. So thank you. Well, in the interest of time, we'll get cracking. Thank you very much, everyone, for braving the weather and coming out tonight. My name's Di Bain. I'm the Chair of Tourism Western Australia, and it's my privilege to be a little bit of your MC tonight. So Kaya, Wonju, welcome. It is a privilege to be here at one of the most beautiful stadiums in the world, on the edge of the best city in the world with the best industry in Western Australia, the tourism industry. For us, we are a big family, and I'm so excited to give you the 2022 second tourism industry update. But before we get cracking, I just want to say what a privilege it is that we're meeting here today on Whadjuk Noongar country. And we've got one of our best tourism assets, and indeed it wouldn't be a Tourism Western Australia event if we didn't have our best in Kerry-Ann Winmar, who's here to welcome us all to her country. Kerry-Ann, if you could come to the stage and we will hear from you now, if that's okay.
Wajak puja wula wula wula. Chirping nunak jiningin. Kaya wanju nija nunga buja. Kurlin dambakan nija korbadak wajak buja. Kura buja. Bilya derbal yurigan memberkut. Nija gaberli moran buja. Nija korbadak wajak buja. First and foremost, I pay my respects to the custodians of the land, my Whadjuk people. I have strong connection to this area through my great-grandmother's mother, who was born here, and we call this place Maru Katagarup, but you would know it as Kings Park today. So I pay my respects to those old people who give me my song, my story, my dance, and all of those information that comes with it. And when we say Jurpin, we're happy, and Nunak, we're looking, and Jiningin at this beautiful place. So here, we're looking at a beautiful place, especially here, where the Derbal Yurigan lies, just behind me here. And it's important to us because it's sacred. It's a sacred place to us, the river itself. And so when we say Kaya, we say hello and welcome to this beautiful land, the Noongar country, or the Noongar lands that we're on today. Kurlin Dabrakan, we're slowly going through this place, and especially with tourism, that it introduces us to a beautiful country. And when I say Nija Gabrali Moran, I say Gabrali, my grandmother, Moran, my grandfather, who give me my song, my story, my dance, and who has made me who I am today with sharing my traditions, my language, and my culture. So I say to everyone in this room, welcome to Whadjuk country. You know that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia were the first midwives, were the first explorers, were the first navigators, were the first engineers, were the first farmers, were the first botanists, were the first scientists, were the first diplomats, the first astronomers, and the first artists on the country. And I love the word art because that is our paper trail that's been here for a very long time. And if you go to school and hear it from the children, they'll say, yeah, 60,000 years or more. And so that's the paper trail for us because that's left in landmarks and engravings on caves and information that has always been there, and these stories have been passed down to us from them old people. There are 6 seasons that determine and make up the 6-season cycle and our movement around our country. So that gives us information because there was no paper calendars or no calendars in those days. So it was about how it felt, how it smelt, and how it looked. So it's very cold out there now. So we're in Makaroo, right in the first winter. The second winter is July. And so these things we know because this has been passed down to us because we're not allowed to forget about it. We have to remember that because our old people will say, you listen to me and they keep telling me the same story over and over so I never forget it. So it's about memorising or having it in our memories. There are 14 different clans that make up the Noongar nation, and each one is named for its specific areas from where they come from. The Noongar nation extends from Whadjuk Perth here, and it's very special with the Bilya, the Derbal Yurigan, and it extends out to Ewart in Mora in the north, and east to the Balladong in the wheat belt, and as far as Menang in Albany. So there's 14 different clans, these Noongar people in the southwest of Western Australia. They speak very similar, or their dialect, well, I won't say dialect, but their language is very much the same. They understand and they know the meanings of these words. So there might be a few things that they say differently, but they understand each other's language quite well. Noongar song, Noongar story and dance and the artwork, it is important to them because these practices are passed down to us from them old people to the next generation. So you would hear of stories of Muljal York, the Christmas tree woman, or Jintar Jar Yarganin, the star dancer, the Murich dancer, the good dancer. And he was sent away up into the sky to the east area is where the Noongar people sent him, because a lot of other people were jealous of him because he was a Murich dancer and he made people happy. So even now when we look up into the night sky in the east, we'll see that very bright twinkling star. So there are many stories, there are many yarns around the campfire that is told to us from these old people, so it's very important to us. Australia's First Nations people, well, we're one of the oldest in the world. I think we're the oldest, really. We could be older than the pyramids and, all of this. But like I said, we've been here for a very long time. And even when the Dutch had first visited here, I think they were the first that come through, Willem de Vlaming, that he actually visited through here. And he remembers seeing, well, he actually wrote in his journals and statements and saying that he saw Aboriginal people, or the Aborigines, occupying their lands. They were living in their lands and they were, utilising what was out in the natural environment. They moved around their country quite, happily and easily. So he saw that they had their own systems, they had their own governing system, they had their own ways of doing things. So it was important about song, it was important about dance, because there's women's ceremony and there's men's ceremony, and there's importance about, in those ceremonies of marking themselves with ochre, because it was a special paint that actually gave them that importance, because they were important people. And so these stories have been engraved to us. My grandmother, my grandfather, they give me that story. So it is with a lot of Aboriginal people all around Australia that their grandmothers and their grandfathers give them that story. So we've been here for a very long time. We've had people visited, like the French, the English had come after the Dutch, and so, that makes up who we, are part of that visitation as well. But the thing is that I have grandchildren. One's here with me tonight, Matthew. He's got orange hair. He's fair. And so he's a descendant of, 7th, 9th generation Scotsman. And we found out that they come from, I think it was Celtic. And so it was very interesting, because I want to go and visit there, but my kids, they do, but they won't pay their fares. So if I pay for it, they will go. But it's about finding out about who your cultural backgrounds, who your cultural people are, and it's important to us. But with me, I'm very passionate about sharing my culture. It is so important to me because these are my stories, and I want to tell my stories how my old people told it to me. It's so important because there are a lot of Noongar people or a lot of Aboriginal people right across Australia. They have a story to tell. So I hope that, we can all, joint venture or whatever it takes to be involved with Aboriginal culture right across the world, really. And it's important too because, we were existing here in that great Southland. So there was a Southland. No one knew that this part of the Southland was here, because when the Dutch had actually travelled on that boat at that time, they didn't know there was a Southland, and they were going so fast in that roaring 40 wind that they thought they were going to go off the planet and no one will ever find them. And anyway, no one knew that the world was round either, and now we do, and so, we can visit each other right across the world. So I say to everyone here in this special night and right across the world, welcome to Whadjuk country. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry-Ann, and it's actually such a privilege that you are prepared to share your story with us. It just enriches all our lives, so thank you very much. And Matthew, thank you for coming tonight. I know it's probably not on your first thing on your agenda, but good on you for being here. Tonight, I'm accompanied at this industry update with my fellow commissioners. Can I acknowledge our Deputy Chair, the long-suffering Manny Papadoulis. If you didn't see Manny at ATE, you haven't lived. He was everywhere. and he's a great deputy, and thank you, Manny, for coming tonight. There you are. Janelle Marr, Commissioner Janelle Marr is here as well. Janelle's expertise and strategic thinking and her interest in arts provides a fantastic and exciting lens on all our decision-making processes at Tourism WA, and she's a huge asset. So thank you, Janelle, for popping in. Kevin Brown he tells me he's dialing in, but I can forgive him because hopefully he's landing lots and lots and lots of planes with lots and lots of tourists right now into Perth Airport. And Anique Brown, unfortunately Anique can't be here, and she wouldn't have missed it for the world, but she has been struck down by the dreaded COVID. Tonight, Carolyn Turnbull will be taking us, our Managing Director will be taking us through a whole lot of slides and a whole lot of focus points on where we're heading in the tourism agency in Western Australia. Can I acknowledge Andrew Hill, who is the Chair of the Tourism Council of Western Australia, and his CEO, Evan Hall, who are also here tonight, and the chairs of our RTOs, partners, Rod Quartermain's here, Ian Gay, Leon Cretney-Barnes and Ross Dowling. Thank you for the work that you guys do. It is invaluable to Tourism Western Australia out there in the regions. You know, you've done an incredible job over the last 2 years, and I know it's been really hard, so thank you for that. Robert Taylor, I hope he's here, the CEO of WATOC. We love the work that the WA Indigenous Tourism Operators Council provides, and to the extent that we can support, endorse and further help them, we will. Business Events Perth CEO Gareth Martin, thank you for being here. ATEC Chair Scott Alderson and Regional Manager Deb Carr is here. Thank you very much. And of course, Mike McKenna. Optus Stadium, you are the guardian of this incredible strategic state asset. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight and for hosting us. And of course, where would we be without our amazing Tourism Minister? The Deputy Premier, Roger Cook. In the last few months that you've been our Minister, you've taken this portfolio like a duck to water. You really have. It's been incredible to sort of sit on the sidelines and watch the DP basically meet with, I think, nearly everyone in this tourism industry over and over and over again, learn from them, and now he's in a great position to make really good strategic decisions and really great policy positions for the sector. So thank you, Deputy Premier, for being here. I know you're about to go on some pretty big travel plans, so we're lucky to have you. A few housekeeping items. There are restrooms located on both the left and right sides of the bathroom if you've had a bit to drink. Optus Stadium is a smoke-free venue, and this includes e-cigarettes. Guests must be a minimum of 5 metres away from the stadium exit before you start smoking. In the event of an emergency, please follow the directions of stadium staff to evacuate and don't use the lifts and escalators. And the nearest assembly area for our current location is Assembly Area South, the southern oval between the Camfield and the stadium external to Gate D. And don't wait for me because these shoes were not meant for walking in. So now, to commence the formal proceedings, if I could just also maybe just acknowledge that we've got an online presence today. So while we have many valuable tourism operators in the room with us, we actually have many more online. So thank you very much for joining us over the internet. So at our most recent industry update in February, Tourism Western Australia said that 2022 was going to be the year Western Australia reconnected to the rest of the world. Since then, we've continued to build on this momentum, and I, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners of Tourism Western Australia, am pleased to officially open tonight's event as we share with you the organisation's plans and priorities for 2022-23 financial year as we shift from a pandemic environment and refocus our efforts from intrastate to sharing Western Australia's unique story with the rest of the country and indeed the world. Tonight, the Deputy Premier and the Minister for Tourism, the Honourable Roger Cook MLA, will provide you with an overview of new tourism funding awarded in the recent state budget. And it was pretty amazing. We were very excited and popping champagne, I can tell you right now, at the agency. The 22-23 financial year alone will provide Tourism Western Australia with in excess of $167 million committed to marketing, events, aviation and experience development to promote the state as an exceptional holiday destination that is way beyond anything this agency has ever seen from any government in history. The Minister will also share some recent significant announcements that will positively impact WA tourism and industry operations. Following the Minister's 10-minute address, Carolyn Turnbull, our formidable Managing Director, will share key consumer insights, Tourism Western Australia's vision and goals for 2022-23, our plan to reset Western Australia's tourism industry post the pandemic, and a top-line overview of our upcoming brand new international brand campaign. Following this, each Executive Director of Tourism WA's Marketing, Destination Developments and Events divisions will go into detail on our progress towards delivery of key performance outcomes in their specific areas. Tonight promises to be an informative evening full of the latest insights, highlighting recent key achievements and outlining our plans for the state's tourism industry for the future. I hope you enjoy the presentations. If I can now invite the Deputy Premier, the Minister for Tourism, Roger Cook, to take the stand. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Di. Thank you very much, everyone, for the opportunity to join you tonight. But can I begin by joining you all in acknowledging that we are on the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. We give thanks for sharing this incredible country with them and creating what is a truly unique experience, an experience only we in this place can experience, and that's why we want to share it with people. And Kerry-Ann, once again, we thank you very much for the opportunity for you to share it with us and the generosity with which you do. And thank you, Matthew, for persevering. It's your patience is admirable. Can I also just acknowledge Di and her fellow board members and thank them for their ongoing work to continue to create great leadership of the tourism sector. The chairs and CEOs of Tourism WA's funded partners are Optus Stadium and Venues Live CEO Mike McKenna, who's hosting us this evening, and all of you who are able to join us here today and those who are watching on live stream. Can I also acknowledge those involved in WATOC, and particularly their leader, Rob, and acknowledge all Aboriginal members who are in the audience today involved in this great industry. And look, it's an absolute pleasure to be with you. My second industry update, and the last one was in February, and hasn't the world changed just in that short period of time. And very much looking forward to continuing to work with you with the great optimism that you all have and we have for the sector going forward. And since I last had the opportunity to speak with all of you, the government's tourism strategy and associated activities have been gathering momentum and pace. We have been working hard to work throughout Australia and around the world, ensuring the message is heard loud and clear. Western Australia is open for business and open for tourism. And I've just returned from Indonesia and travelled recently to Singapore. And I'll soon depart to Europe, and in July we'll take the biggest business delegation to that country ever seen from our state. Over 100 representatives from the business sector, tourism, primary industries, medtech, mining equipment, mining engineering and technology services right across the sector as Western Australia continues to reconnect with the world and to seize the opportunities that come with that. And can I say, the anecdotal evidence from my experience out there in the community, particularly in places like Singapore, is that there's a huge pent-up demand and appetite to experience everything that Western Australia has to offer. Because during the COVID-19 period, people want to now experience genuine open environments. They want to sample great culinary and cultural experiences. They want to be in the sort of place where a tourism product is all those genuine, clean and open experiences which Western Australia absolutely excels in. So this is an exciting time. And we know that international arrivals are already starting to pick up and are tracking at nearly 60% of pre-COVID levels. That's a fantastic achievement and a testament to the government's strong support of Tourism WA and the strong support we are now getting from our aviation partners right across the region. But we know that there's much more to do. We're bucking the national trend. The rest of the country is reaching just over 40% of pre-COVID levels. So we are doing really well, and we know we have to continue to work harder. And so they give us reasons these figures give us reason to celebrate, and we now need to build on that foundation and continue to rebuild the tourism sector so it's bigger and better than it was before. And that's why the McGowan government has just injected an additional $70 million into the state budget. And this means that in 2022-2023 financial year, we will have the biggest state tourism budget in Western Australia's history. More than $167 million is committed to marketing events, aviation and experience development. $167 million. That provides us with the opportunity to do more and to really take advantage of the opportunities that are before us. And Tourism WA will be using the increase in funding to deliver more activity in event tourism, destination marketing and destination development. And this is to ensure that we attract more visitors, support tourism operators and local businesses like yours, boost the economy and secure more investment in the sector. So let's start with events. Securing blockbuster events is a key aspect of the government's tourism strategy. The increase in visitor numbers that events attract helps to support local jobs and businesses and injects millions into the state economy. I want Perth and Western Australia to be one of the top 3 event destinations of Southeast Asia. We can meet that ambition and that goal, and we can do it with a great determination and with confidence. This latest budget includes $31 million to attract additional major events and businesses. And our event strategy is already proving successful. We have an exciting program of events planned for this winter with a series of blockbuster sporting fixtures over in June and July, including State of Origin 2, go the Maroons, the Wallabies versus England rugby test, the 2022 Suncorp Super Netball League Grand Final, go the Fever, and 2 star-studded English Premier League matches with Manchester United and Aston Villa, and Leeds United taking on Crystal Palace. The Manchester United and Aston Villa game is already sold out, and we're getting great support for the second match, and we're really looking forward to those 2 games bringing the town alive. But never fear, it's not all about sports. And last week, the government announced a new exciting sculpture trail with enormous wooden sculptures with an internationally acclaimed Danish artist to be installed at secret locations throughout the Mandurah and Peel region. It's an Australian first outdoor exhibition expected to attract thousands of visitors to the regions. And this is just the beginning, folks, with many more exciting events and announcements to come. We've already committed an additional $21 million for additional marketing over the next 2 financial years. The significant funding boost will be used to position the state as a globally desirable holiday destination and grow leisure visitation to the state through targeted marketing. It will support all the exciting marketing activities that you will hear about shortly, including the launch of Tourism WA's new brand, which will grow awareness of WA's unique offerings and elevate the state to become even more desirable for domestic and international travellers. Marketing activities will include a focus on promoting our 5 incredible tourism regions, and they will be used to implement major marketing campaigns across the east coast of Australia, as well as in our priority international markets. And I was recently in Brisbane for a conference of the oil and gas industries. And the most common thing observations that people made to us was not about our oil and gas capacity. They just said, could you bloody well stop the ads about WA and going to Western Australia? I said no. And last but by no means least, Tourism WA's Destination Development Team will have an additional $17.7 million over 4 years to deliver a National Parks Tourism Experience Development Package. This new $17.7 million allocation includes $6.5 million to establish 8 shovel-ready sites in national parks in preparations for private investment, including eco-retreat accommodation, and $5 million to work with industry to activate the significant investment in trails and attractions that are already in national parks to create bookable touring options for visitors to enjoy. The package will help to create bookable touring options for local, interstate and international visitors to enjoy, boosting the number of attractions regional WA has to offer. And it's also just important to note that since 2017-2018, the government has allocated $152.7 million towards 29 national park tourism infrastructure projects, including $24 million for the Kalbarri Skywalk, $16 million for the Karijini National Park, $10 million for Collie mountain bike trails, and $12 million for visitors and management amenities to establish the Hootman Abrolhos Island National Park. And I was in Kalbarri recently talking to some of the tour operators and tourism leaders in that community, and they talk about the Skywalk as being something which has transformed the way people access the opportunities, visitor opportunities in Kalbarri National Park. A critical part of a memorable tourism experience is a robust and skilled workforce that supports the best experiences possible. The government has heard the feedback from tourism businesses, and we are working hard to bring back working holiday makers and all types of workers to tourism businesses, particularly in our regions. Through Tourism WA, we have been delighted to launch a dedicated WA hospitality and tourism careers website called westernaustralia.jobs in partnership with the Australian Hoteliers Association of WA. There are already over 300 job vacancies posted on the site by more than 200 employers. So if you haven't also already done so, I urge you to visit the website and use this terrific resource to boost your vacancies and get your jobs filled as soon as possible. And Tourism WA has also been working with the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development to promote DPIRD's Workers Regional Travel and Accommodation Support Scheme. The Paid Escape Scheme includes $2,100 for working holiday makers to come live, play and work in WA's fantastic regions, and is an important part of Tourism WA's Working Holiday Maker campaign. I'd like to finish by saying that there are many incredible opportunities to be excited about as we look forward to the future of WA's tourism industry. We have direct flights being reinstated between Perth and London, and the Rome direct flight is about to start operating. And there are many more exciting flight opportunities being worked on by Tourism WA as we speak. I'm proud of this year's state budget as has backed Tourism WA and in such a resounding and powerful way. It's such a delight when you eventually get your message through to Treasury and it starts making sense to them. And I look forward to continuing to work with you and seeing the exciting initiatives that you will hear about today implemented to ensure our wonderful industry shines brighter than ever before. Folks, let me join Di in acknowledging that this has been an incredibly tough couple of years for you, and I know we're not out of the woods yet. But we see the kernels of success and optimism on the horizon, and I'm really excited and think that with a strong investment and with the leadership being provided by Tourism WA and others in the sector, that we will make great success and really take the sector forward in a way like never before. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. You are the ultimate translator for Treasury. I can give you the tip. It helps having you on our side. And indeed, it is a really exciting time for tourism. With big budgets come big responsibility, and we need big personalities and bold people to help drive that agenda home. And there is no one bolder and braver than Carolyn Turnbull, our Managing Director. If I can invite you up to give your presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Bold and bright is the theme of the evening. Let's get the show on the road. So it is also a privilege to be here with all of you this evening and my executive team and the broader Tourism WA team as well. Welcome everyone. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we are gathered on here this evening, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I would also like to acknowledge our Deputy Premier and Tourism Minister, the Honourable Roger Cook MLA, the Tourism Board Chair, Di Bain, and Board Commissioners. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. And to everyone else, I won't repeat all of our valued members in the room, our distinguished guests that are all here today with us. So, the last industry update, I did a lot of the talking. Tonight, I will be joined by my executive team to talk through a lot of the detail. But the first industry update for the year, as Di mentioned, was all about preparing for those gates to open, and we are well and truly building on that momentum as we're, many months down the track now. And so tonight it's more about going through and talking about our ambition and our big aspirations of our sector and our state as we move forward into a new post-pandemic world with a distinctive new brand and the biggest budget Tourism WA has ever seen in history. And for me as a relatively new leader, not so much new anymore, as you can imagine, leading a team with a robust budget of that magnitude, it really does say something. It talks about the trust that the government has in us as an agency. It talks about the trust that they have in our vision, our strategy, and all the great efforts that the team are working towards together as one industry. We are emerging as one of the strongest experiential destinations in the nation, if not the world, a state that is truly distinctive in identity, that is unique and absolutely appealing. Am I meant to have moved on? Sorry. Not quite yet. And we are really ready to welcome the world back to WA as Australia's Western Gateway. And we talk about the Western Gateway a lot, but this is something that we can truly build upon. The largest state and a truly authentic, undiscovered destination that offers one-of-a-kind experiences to the global traveller, especially the high-value travellers that we often talk about, and that have rarely experienced what we have on offer here in WA. Tourism WA, together with the team, are absolutely excited to work hand in hand with you as one team, Team WA, our industry partners, to share WA's unique story, and it's so special, which is ripe for elevation within the broader Australian narrative. We were fortunate enough to have the Tourism Australia board here with us last week, and only about a month before, the Tourism Australia executive team in a TA immersion day where we shared our actions, our plans, our strategy, and I can assure you that Pip and the team at Tourism Australia are really noticing the great work and energy that's coming here from Western Australia. We are eager to work collaboratively, that's what we do, with all of you and understand the best ways we can work to maximise the WA opportunities through collective influence and to increase that great market share that's out there for the taking, to amplify our wonderful brand and voice, and to complement our respective activities in the highly competitive international marketplace that we are seeing. So moving on to insights, to get the ball rolling this evening, I thought it was important to give you a top-line overview of what we're seeing, what lies ahead for Tourism WA in 22-23, our vision and our goals, and to give you an overview of the creative approach that underpins our new and exciting and beautiful brand. So just sort of taking a step back and to really understand the border reopening and its immediate impact. Data is telling us that a sharp jump in searches for travel to WA following the border re-announcement has taken place, which is really positive to see. I mean, one would hope that that was the impact, but it's great to see that the data is also reinforcing that. Interstate short-term consideration for Western Australia increased significantly, and consumer confidence to plan and book travel to WA is improving month on month. So building on that momentum is great for the operators to be aware of. And positively, intrastate travel sentiment has remained strong, and I know Mel's going to talk a little bit about this as well, despite interstate and international options now being on the table for that outbound travel. It's not as strong as we would have anticipated after borders opened. So we're holding on to that intrastate appetite while we balance that inbound sentiment as well. And in fact, almost 4 in 10 Perth residents plan to take more intrastate trips this year than they did last year, which is also really positive. And looking forward, there is absolutely reason to be optimistic. Research from Tourism Australia shows that things our top international markets are looking for and searching for when choosing a holiday destination have not changed since pre-COVID. So all those great important aspects and those important drivers such as safety and security, nature and wildlife, food and wine, all of those great attributes we have in spades here in WA, closely followed by the likes of value for money, friendly, warm and welcoming citizens that we are here in WA, and that incredible beauty of the aquatic and coastal offering that we have. All of those aspects we're ready and truly able to deliver. And forward bookings are also looking really positive. As you can see on the slide here, international arrivals for the remainder of the year are currently tracking at close to 60%. And the DP also, the Deputy Premier also touched on that, so around 60% to pre-COVID levels. And this compares to international arrivals to Australia, which are tracking at around 40%. So clearly demonstrating that WA is outperforming the national average. One would tell you that people are searching for something a little different. So WA is truly top of mind for international markets, and I think that is consistent with our top markets pre-COVID. So the markets such as the UK, Singapore, Malaysia and New Zealand are starting to see strong growth from those key target markets and key feeder markets. And bookings to WA are tracking particularly strong for Singapore. Obviously, only a 4.5, 5-hour flight from WA. It's a beautiful getaway, all those incredible attributes that the Deputy Premier mentioned, wide open spaces, clean air, and really underpinned by that sense of adventure, time, space, freedom, all those great attributes that we're going to share that underpin our new brand narrative as well. So, big picture, looking forward, our vision, our goals, that flag on the hill that drives us every single day to get out of bed for you, the industry, and come together as a team, not just here in Perth, but all of our international team across the globe, our 11 key international markets. We absolutely are emerging into an exciting new phase as we explore a new chapter for our industry, with our borders open and open to stay with endless opportunity. We have heard earlier this evening that the government of Western Australia here has backed us. They have backed our request for the highest investment ever. And within that investment pool, over the next the next financial year, 22-23, of that 176 funding pool, 76.5 million for marketing and aviation, 71 million for events, including business events, and 20 million spend in destination development. And one of my key visions for the agency coming into this role was to really ensure that destination development was prioritised. It's not just the important aspects of workforce and the capability building that is so important to develop the supply side of things. It's really elevating, prioritising our Aboriginal tourism narrative as well. And Renata's going to go into some exciting detail on that front. So what will we do with this significant financial contribution from the state government? We will strive to realise our vision, which is to make Western Australia the most desirable choice for domestic and international visitors. And we'll work towards our goal, which is to ensure that our visitor economy becomes, over the next 10 years, by 2032, to generate $20 billion. You'll recall, before COVID, we were a robust sector representing $13.5 billion to the Western Australia economy. I'm saying we can do better. So by 2032, we're going to be an economy that represents $20 billion in economic return and surpass the 100,000 jobs. So we have stepped back. I think now we're representing 80,000 jobs. But over the next couple of years, our role is to reinstate the 100,000 jobs and then slowly grow that to build to 200,000 jobs over the next 10 years. So the steps to recovery. We know that we're open. So reopening phase took place in March. We're now transitioning into that reset phase over the next 2 years, and then we plan to rebound as an industry together during that 25 to 27 period, and then ultimately regeneration 28 to 2032, where we'll develop a truly sustainable sector that we can all be absolutely proud of and deliver a strong, resilient future for you all. The Tourism Reset Strategy and those key pillars that is led by Di and the Board of Tourism Western Australia is really centred around 3 key pillars, and that's to motivate visitation, to restore our Western Gateway, so restoring access, and to enhance our experience. So how do we reset Tourism WA's and the industry's priorities in this new environment? So it's through these key pillars, which is first to motivate visitation through all of our messaging, our tone of voice, our new brand, our marketing, but most importantly, who are we targeting? So the blanket approach to be everything to everyone is not my style, and certainly not the way that we're leading in the agency. It's about being really targeted. We know where the appetite lies in those international markets and our interstate markets, and it's also through attracting those blockbuster and mass participation events that will be a great hook to book. So all of these strong triggers will give travellers a compelling reason to want to come and visit Western Australia. To motivate visitation, we're ramping up our marketing to drive visitors to WA by investing $56 million into marketing efforts, and Mel will take you through some detail very shortly. And in addition to that, we will focus on a strategic program together with Gareth and the team of Business Events Perth to support the return of business events back to Perth. And in the recent state budget, in addition to what I've just already mentioned, Business Events Perth was awarded significant additional funding, bringing their total budget over the next 4 years to $32 million. So that is huge. And we know through this substantial funding boost that we can work together collectively between Tourism Western Australia and BEP as one of our valued funded partners to secure those lucrative business events, just like the blockbuster sporting events and arts and cultural events, to strengthen and diversify our state's economies. So it's a really diversified, broad, strategic approach to delivering those larger events. The second pillar, restoring access. We know the Western Gateway, I think, is quite a sexy positioning. I think entry via Perth, as opposed to our eastern states, has a really unique, compelling reason for airlines to seriously consider Western Australia as an entry point. We are viable. We're in the 60% of the world's same time zone, and it's a really profitable option for fleet viability when these airlines are considering Perth as an entry point. We're focused on restoring our aviation access by investing $21 million in the next financial year, would you believe, to reinstate those international and interstate flights, and we are tracking really well and working hand in hand with our close friends and partners at Perth Airport. We've already talked about reinstating that London flight, and that is just amazing in itself. And to even think that Perth has the only direct service into continental Europe is quite phenomenal. And I am looking forward to being on that first flight, I think on the 25th of June, just in a few weeks' time. So building on that momentum, celebrating the success, the connection that we have with Europe, the opportunities are completely endless. In addition to those exciting international routes, it's important to always focus on regional dispersal and ensuring that we're delivering affordable airfares that improve connectivity within our large state, and to stimulate regional dispersal and provide economic and social growth for the regions. The first ever Melbourne to Busselton flight, I can see Katrin here. I thought you were in Europe. Welcome to you, Katrin, this evening, but I can assure you that that service, working hand in hand with yourself and the region in the southwest, has been a long time coming, and the results are showing strongly already since that's been launched. We are going to be discussing, while we are discussing access, I should say, and I'm sure you'll be all aware that the current delays in visa approvals, this is a big issue due to that unprecedented demand for Australian holidays from Singapore, the likes of Malaysia and Indonesia. So I just wanted to share that the Department of Home Affairs is working hard to process the huge volume of applications, but some visitors still without visas are being forced to cancel their holidays, and we don't want that to happen. So Tourism WA is working with our trade partners to alert consumers to these delays, and tour operators taking direct bookings are really encouraging their guests to apply for visas at least 6 weeks before. So I just wanted to share that message on how we're trying to combat that hurdle. So for more information, do contact Kim and our industry team, and I'll share their email address at the end of today's session. And finally, the third reset pillar being enhanced experience. And I'm not going to go into detail because Renata Lowe is our expert in this area, and she will certainly share with you some more details very shortly. To our industry partners, you know how much I care and look out for you and respect the great work that we do together, but it is all about collaboration as we work together in resetting Western Australia's tourism industry. We look forward to working with all of you in the sector and continuing to work collaboratively with the likes of Rob at WATOC, there you are, our 5 RTOs, TCWA, AHA, BEP, ATEC, the WA Visitors Centre, which I know a number of you are here this evening, plus many, many more. Touching on our new global brand, well, this is such an exciting initiative and one that has turned around faster than I could have ever imagined. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, we have been working on this, I think actually for a couple of years, to be frank. I think our story and that regional consultation, the deep dive into the 5 regions has taken some time, but don't fear, we are nearly there. We certainly aim to unveil an extraordinary, elevated, elegant brand, and one that I truly believe that will position us as Australia's first destination lifestyle brand that truly unites people to conserve culture, community and environment. And this global lifestyle brand for WA tourism will position our state as a truly aspirational destination for high-value travellers. When the brand is launched, I don't want you to say to me, yes, but this little destination hasn't been featured. In great branding, it's all about elevating a story that resonates through everything that we do. So I really believe that the positioning of this creative work will achieve that, not just for the next 12 months, not just for the next 2 years, but something that I think we can be proud of for the next 5 to 10 years. Our emotive, creative approach will celebrate Aboriginal culture and leverage the artistic talents of the local West Australians. We've brought the brand home. We're working with a local agency called the Brand Agency to deliver this project within a really condensed timeline. So together, led by Mel Forbes and the marketing team, we have moved mountains with regards to the brand development, the consultation and production, delivered within just 6 months. So we are ready to launch our new brand to audiences very, very soon. So our next industry update will be coming to you in late August, early September, to unveil some exciting work there. And so, on that note, I'm going to hand over to my close colleague, Acting Executive Director of Marketing, Melissa Forbes, who'll provide you an update on our global brand, as well as Tourism WA's broader marketing campaigns and strategies on both the national level and the global stage. Welcome, Mel.
Hi everyone. I too would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today and acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. I'm going to take you through a bit of a deep dive today on each of our markets, each of our key markets, and tell you about some of the exciting activities that we've got planned over the next 12 months. I'll also go into a little bit more detail on our brand and the exciting work that we've got coming up in that space as well. So after spending the better part of 2 years focused on activating the intrastate market and encouraging Western Australians to travel further, experience more and spend their holiday dollars within their home state, we've now shifted our attention back to interstate and global opportunities, with the priority firmly on reconnecting our industry back with consumers, trade and media across our key markets. Establishing our new global brand is a key priority for the year ahead. As Carolyn's already alluded to, the new positioning for Western Australia intends to elevate awareness, consideration, and ultimately help us win market share over competitor destinations. Aboriginal tourism will play a key role in helping us to differentiate our offering and share the importance of the history, culture, and stories from across the state. Also, targeting a high-yielding traveller, those who stay longer, travel further and engage more with our unique experiences will be a key priority across all markets. Marketing will also play a key role in supporting the success of our aviation recovery funding, building consumer demand for key aviation routes to drive capacity growth and helping to sustain the viability of new routes. Global marketing partnerships with airlines will leverage the existing audience channels and loyalty programs of our airline partners, while also building in consumer incentives and campaigns to reach new audiences and drive incremental booking growth. Tactical offers and consumer deals will provide the sales hook that encourages consumers to move from consideration for a WA holiday into the booking phase. Our conversion activity will be focused on those itineraries that encourage prospective visitors to stay longer and experience more. Helping to address workforce shortages, particularly in regions where seasonality is a consideration, will continue to be a priority within our marketing programs. We have been delivering specific working holidaymaker campaigns across the UK, Europe and the east coast of Australia, with further activity to come in Japan and South Korea, positioning Western Australia as a unique destination for work and travel opportunities. Finally, opportunities for face-to-face reconnection will be a key priority over the coming 12 months. After years of webinars and conference calls, these opportunities to connect, educate and do business in person are a vital part of our industry's recovery efforts. Trade and media for Mills will be dialed up and will also deliver opportunities for operators to reconnect back into global supply chains via a series of tourism-specific roadshows, including UK and Europe kicking off next week and Malaysia, Singapore in mid-July. During the pandemic, Tourism WA embarked on a journey to capture the essence of WA, draw out the most unique aspects, and bundle the stories that could ultimately be used to tell the world who we are and what we have to offer. More than 35 positioning statements were developed in consultation with regions across Western Australia, providing the groundwork for Tourism WA to communicate the best of our regions and the nuances that make them unique. The end result was our story, The Spirit of Adventure. Key narratives including otherworldly phenomena, majestic landscapes and big skies, barefoot luxury and ancient tracks' new journeys sit across our core pillars of time, space, connection and freedom, which have been adapted specifically to a post-pandemic audience. This important piece of work has provided us with the foundation layer from which our new consumer brand is being developed. Tourism WA's brand will provide a strong and recognisable platform for WA as a tourism destination. With distinct brand assets linked to tangible tourism experiences, it will help us stand out in a competitive and cluttered marketplace and build salience in travellers' minds. The new brand will underpin our work not only through recovery, but also as we progress into new growth phases. It will also help to position Western Australia as the premier destination in Australia for Aboriginal tourism, an action item outlined within the GINA plan, and Renata will touch more on the GINA plan during her presentation. This is our forward-looking timeline for brand launch this year, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to make it, putting it up here in front of you. Our statewide brand shoot is now complete. It's been a huge piece of work with a crew of 27 travelling from top to tail of the state. We're on track to launch locally to industry and Western Australians in late August, followed by a domestic rollout across paid media, partnerships and advocacy programs. Global markets will be activated via a series of key launch activities before being integrated into all aspects of our consumer and trade program. Alongside the development of these creative assets, we have a new website delivering an improved user experience, quality engagement and effective generation of leads being launched in tandem. More detail on how industry can leverage these activities and noise in the market, including opportunities to participate in campaign activity, will be provided closer to the launch date. We do, however, encourage businesses to prepare by ensuring your latest product details are listed on ATDW, and if you're working within the travel distribution space, you have forward plans in place with partners. As operators shift their focus back to interstate and international markets and look to reconnect with distribution channels, Tourism WA's marketing team are happy to facilitate introductions and suitable connections. The majority of our marketing investment for the next 12 months will be directed towards the high-value traveller or high-yielding traveller. This type of traveller are highly engaged and have a close affinity for the type of experiences on offer here in WA. They are naturally adventurous, and they like to immerse themselves in a destination, stay longer and travel further. Closely following this segment are our visiting friends and relatives and working holiday maker segments. Reunions between family and friends are usually a consideration between two destinations. Our approach in this segment is to leverage the all-time high advocacy levels of local Western Australians, those who have spent the last few years discovering new places and travelling within their home state to entice their family and friends here. Our marketing approach with VFR is to incentivise regional dispersal and an increased engagement with experiences and touring product. For working holidaymakers, the seasonal nature of Western Australia's peak tourism periods means that there's plenty of opportunity to move around and essentially spend an extended length of time travelling and working across the state. This fact, coupled with the regional accommodation and travel incentives on offer for visa holders, makes for a compelling reason to choose WA. Throughout the year, we also have niche marketing campaigns specifically targeting visitation for key events and the audience segments who are most likely to travel to attend an event. In the domestic space, we're wrapping up our $12 million marketing blitz on the East Coast using Wander Out Yonder platform. We've announced loudly and proudly that we're open for business, and as we enter next financial year, the marketing will not slow down. Our key domestic markets of Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland offer the greatest opportunity for conversion, and we will have a solid calendar of cooperative marketing activity to deliver against this, with the likes of Flight Centre, Hello World, Qantas Holidays, Inspiring Vacations, Luxury Escapes and more. A domestic training platform to work alongside the Global Aussie Specialist Program will be launching in the coming months as a means to incentivise agents and encourage those that have shifted to selling domestic product during the pandemic to continue prioritising WA for their clients. Internationals are back, and it was incredibly exciting to have our international team back reconnecting in person with industry and operators at ATE last month. As has been mentioned, an additional $21 million for interstate and international marketing across the next 2 years will deliver initiatives to help visitation recover and regenerate from our priority markets. Programs across brand, advocacy and PR, partnerships and distribution will feature across all markets. Singapore and the UK are our leading lights, defined by their pre-COVID visitor spend levels and quick recovery potential. Brand activity will play a priority role across both of these markets. Singaporeans have responded very strongly to the WA border opening, with data on forward bookings showing that visitation from May to August is tracking at more than double the volume of arrivals for the same period in 2019. Singaporean key distribution partners and travel agents are seeking new product and experience to meet the demands of their growing HVT customer to travel further and stay longer. The UK has always been a strong market for WA, and approximately 9,000 Brits have arrived in WA since the borders opened in early March, with an increased average stay of 31 days compared to 18 days in 2019. Flight bookings by Brits arriving into Perth between June and December are already at 60% of 2019 levels, with partners reporting higher than average booking values. The UK is also the #1 international market for working holidaymakers to Western Australia, and across the next 12 months we'll be working on 4 different cooperative marketing partnerships to attract working holidaymakers. In the US, Malaysia, New Zealand, Indonesia, Japan and Germany will continue to focus on recovery and look for opportunities to grow visitation. New brand assets will feature in activity with trade engagement, and partnerships an important factor in generating booking growth. The US has an above average trip expenditure, with visitors likely to stay and spend more. This audience will be our primary focus in this market, and Tourism WA will be attending Virtuoso Travel Week, developing relationships with key high-yielding agents to increase awareness of WA. In Malaysia, where we know there are visa issues, Carolyn has mentioned that, our partnerships with key distribution partners will target those longer lead bookings to ensure that we're not running into those short lead booking visa problems, and focus on high value travellers looking to stay longer and disperse further. Partners will include Apple Vacation, Golden Deluxe, Trip.com and more. Feedback from New Zealand trade partners is that bookings are tracking well for Western Australia, with increased demand for new experiences and luxury holidays. Consumer insights tell us that New Zealanders currently feel more comfortable travelling shorter distances and to destinations they are familiar with, providing a great opportunity for WA. In New Zealand, we'll work across major key distribution partners, as well as delivering broadcast and content media partnerships with a focus on road trips and longer form itineraries. Next week, WA will feature on New Zealand's biggest breakfast TV program with a series of pre-recorded content pieces from across the state. In Indonesia, we're seeing high levels of consideration, with 4 in every 5 Indonesians considering Australia as their next holiday destination. Our focus will be on shifting this appetite into bookings via tactical airline partnerships and consumer incentive promotions targeting the Indonesian year-end holiday period and school holidays in 2023. Japan has been slower to open up, and it's expected that demand for overseas travel will strengthen gradually over the coming months by the commencement of the northern winter season in late October. Industry engagement is a key focus for our work in Japan, and Tourism WA will be organising a WA-Japan roadshow extension off the back of Tourism Australia's marketplace activity in late September. Regional dispersal has always been a key element for the European market. They travel regionally and have a tendency to stay longer than other markets. These travel patterns do not appear to have been affected post-COVID, with consumer demand data showing that Germans are looking for nature and wildlife experiences more than ever. A key upcoming activity to support growth out of Germany will be an FTI Mega Famil, where we will host up to 40 top FTI retail travel agents across 5 different regional itineraries to help build ambassadors and advocates to sell WA. In Italy and India, we are focused on developing and establishing the market potential, with the emphasis of our investment in training and engagement space. Most of our first returning travellers from India are visiting family and friends. However, the return of world-class cricket to WA will be a significant kickstarter for the leisure sector from the India market. Securing the India versus South Africa T20 match to be played here has proven to be a huge success for the India market. With hospitality tickets almost sold out, we're now focused on the FIT leisure market, taking up general ticket sales with packaged holidays to WA. In partnership with ICC accredited partners in India, we'll be launching a WA leisure visitor campaign to run through July and August, maximising this visitation opportunity. In Italy, our focus is on supporting the inbound potential delivered through the new direct Rome service and working closely with Qantas to activate connecting regions across Europe. Awareness building activities in the Italian market through Famil and trade partnerships are also a focus. In China and Hong Kong, we will continue with smaller levels of investment to ensure consideration for WA is still strong and that we have a warm audience ready to be targeted at such time that travel restrictions are lifted and marketing can be geared up. In Hong Kong, we will have an early bird recovery campaign to drive conversion, partnering with Tourism Australia via a major broadcast partnership and in alignment with some in-market partners. This will be activated on announcement of shorter hotel quarantine protocols. In China, we have a cooperative marketing campaign with the largest travel agent in China, Ctrip, to stimulate market recovery. The campaign will leverage Ctrip's rich database to accurately target, educate and engage high-value travellers with conversion activity switched on when travel restrictions are lifted. That was just a small snapshot of some of the activity being worked on and planned across all of our global markets. If you'd like to dive deeper into one particular market or any of these activities, I encourage you to reach out to our team at head office and speak to them directly about those opportunities and how you can be a part of them. It's an incredibly busy and exciting time to be back marketing Western Australia to the world and reconnecting our industry with global audiences, and we look forward to sharing more with you throughout the year. And I'd now like to introduce Renata Lowe, Acting Executive Director of Destination Development.
Thank you, Mel. Kaya. Hello, and hello to all those watching remotely. Now, you have all been so patient, sitting and listening to so much information. I am going to give you a moment to stand up, have a bit of a stretch. This is not a cue to leave, though. Just a quick stretch. Quick stretch. Perfect. All right. Okay, we can take a seat now. In financial year 2023, the Destination Development Team is going to expand its focus and it's going to expand its reach in line with new investment funding that's been provided. This plan on a page that I've provided here gives you a bit of an indication about some of our experience development activity that we're doing, from activating opportunities in the national parks with DBCA, our partners, of continuing to grow Aboriginal cultural experiences together with WATOC, and Rod's in the room here. There you go, hello. And also Doc Reynolds would probably be watching at home in Esperance, so hello, Doc. We'll also be welcoming back crews, and we'll be supporting the private sector where needed in engaging with government on their planning and approvals processes. I'm going to be explaining a little bit about what we're doing in workforce and also outline our planning initiatives that are helping inform and influence positive tourism outcomes. As the Deputy Premier mentioned earlier, we are the recipients of $17.7 million over 4 years to activate opportunities, tourism opportunities in national parks in partnership with DBCA. This is all about growing our inventory of bookable tourism experiences in and around our parks. This is about adding that density, that diversity, creating those new unique products that demand and drive or drive the demand and also capture the attention of our visitors when they're considering a destination. We're going to be working up 8 shovel-ready opportunities for the private sector to invest in small footprint, sensitive, unique accommodation offerings. So the focus here is to diversify beyond what is traditionally our camping and caravanning to provide some unique accommodation experiences. Going to be working with DBCA, working with our traditional owners and using their guidance and their support, and also working with our private sector. The funding will support feasibility studies. It will support engagement at stakeholder level and with traditional owners. It will support site selection with those private sector proponents, site due diligence work on those particular sites, and also business case development for headworks if it's required. A second component of this new funding is to work with you, our tourism operators and aspirants, to create other experiences within our parks. As the Deputy Premier mentioned earlier, $150 million has gone into building more trails, more campgrounds, more attractions. How do we take those attractions and create those bookable products that we can take to our partners internationally? We want to see more guided experience on those trails, more mountain bike opportunities as well. We're going to go into a year of dark sky. How can we create more of those experiences around the state? Funding will be to work with those individual operators and also to take that new product and take that to the market, because we want that into our distribution chains. We want to be able to sell that at ATE and make sure that our partners domestically and internationally can promote those experiences. To deliver on that part of our second component, we're going to be placing tourism experience development managers in our 5 regions, and this is really, really exciting. And for those of you like Manny, who's been around for more than a last decade in tourism, you will remember when we did have regional managers out in our regions and the work that they performed in engaging with operators and helping them with their experience development. So we have our protege in the room. Here we go, Nicole Nelson, who has been with us for 12 months and based in Geraldton, co-located with the Midwest Development Commission, and she's been doing a lot of work on the Kalbarri Foreshore Redevelopment Program. She's been working with Yamaji Southern Regional Aboriginal Corporation on their aspirations for Pink Lake and also Lucky Bay, and also the Abrolhos as well. So we want to harness what Nicole's been doing out in that region and take that or her learnings into other parts of the state. And the other thing we will also be doing is placing an officer in Exmouth for the next 12 months to help us with the activity in the lead up to the total solar eclipse. Moving on to Aboriginal tourism, and together with WATOT, Rod and your amazing team and our 8 government agencies, financial year 23 will be delivering our second year of our 4-year GINA plan. I'm going to share with you a few of our projects coming up in this upcoming year, and I also want to acknowledge the guidance, the support we are getting from traditional owners, not only here on Whadjuk country, but across the state in the work that we're doing this area. So GINA's delivered on 3 pillars. It's all about positioning, it's about participation, it's about those new experiences. And the first pillar is about focusing on making our culture more visible. And the Deputy Premier is always talking about, how can we take our Aboriginal culture and make it the beating heart of everything we do in tourism. And through the work that Mel's doing, we'll be telling our story through an Aboriginal lens as well. But what are the other things that we're doing? So outside Bullabardip, every Saturday morning, we have the Nyambi dance and welcome to country. It's a free event. So if you're a tourism operator in this room, Ryan, I can see you there. If you're an inbound tour operator, I encourage you to harness that opportunity and bring your groups to see that experience. And I hope that as we get out of winter and into summer, we'll be able to expand that opportunity. WATOT, Rod, your team is doing a lot of work with the investment that's been provided through GINA to make culture more visible within visitor centres with amazing murals in those visitor centres. And we're working on another one in the Peel region at the moment that Not quite sure where you're going to be unveiling that one. But we also want to make sure that we're embedding our artists in residence opportunities within hotels. Those of you that were at ATE would have seen Troy and Talia Bennell and the amazing work and just the attention they captured through having that artist in residence experience at that event. And it doesn't get much visible or more visible than we have the World Indigenous Tourism Summit here, right here in Perth in March 2023, and that's going to be an amazing platform to sell our amazing Indigenous cultures and our cultural experiences, and people like Kerry Ann are the absolute epitome of what is being delivered across our state. Going into the area of participation, and this is through the investment that Tourism WA is making with WAITOC, the extension of our business capacity activity, and Rod delivers the Aboriginal Tourism Academy, providing capacity support, but also a really innovative hub project. This is an Australian first, we'd say, won't we, Rob? Where we're providing Aboriginal tourism operators with online platform, some reservation support, and also some bookkeeping support to help them deliver their businesses or make their businesses stronger. In-house, with our in-house team at Tourism, we're continuing skills and training opportunities, and one of the ones that we're delivering at the moment is with Woonan Foundation in the East Kimberley, where we're working with Aboriginal people, providing advice and support, training in cookery or housekeeping skills or ground skilling, and taking them into the industry, working in resorts and properties there. Finally, our third pillar is around experience development, and what Carolyn talked about, creating more experiences, and here we have at our heart the Camping with Custodians project, and that image right on the bottom there is Jarragen Campground, and tomorrow Di will be on the Dampier Peninsula opening that. Our 6th Camping with Custodian Campground will be, our 7th will go into construction in 23, and we'll be working on a few more of those opportunities. Through WAITOC, they're working on the Arts with Custodians opportunity of getting more tour product within our Archwa or our 26 art centres. And there's a whole lot of other activities in that area that I just don't have time for now. Just going on to cruise, we're going to welcome back cruise, and it's certainly taken off at a rate of knots, particularly in the Kimberley region. If there's anybody here from the Kimberley, it is the biggest expedition cruise season for many, many years. We have our flotilla of amazing West Australian-owned vessels working. We have 3 Queensland vessels and 4 international flag vessels in the Kimberley at this moment, carrying predominantly East Coast visitors who have been waiting for their opportunity to get into our region. And we have our chair of our WA Cruise Committee, Professor Ross Dowling, here as well. I'm acknowledging you, Ross, and the work that you're doing with our team, because not only do we have expedition ships back this year, we're going to have the larger ships coming back in November, and that includes the Cunards. One of the Queens will be the first vessel into the state. So what do we have to do, Ross? We've got 3 big pillars that we're working on cruise. We want to get back a home-ported vessel. In 2016, we had 3 seasonal home-ported vessels based in Fremantle, taking itineraries to our 9 cruise ports: Geraldton, Albany, Busselton, Esperance. Everybody was getting a slice of this pie. We want to take those expedition ships that are currently in our Kimberley area. We want to take them beyond the Kimberley, because there is so much more coastline that we want those high-value travellers to see. And thirdly, when we get those cruise ships that are coming in on world journeys or circumnavigations of Australia, we want them to do more of our West Australian ports. One of the great things that is happening at the moment is Broome is looking at getting their first port of entry status, and that's going to be a huge opportunity for us, because there will be 2 ports in Western Australia where ships can come in as first port of entry. So a lot of great things in that cruise area. And as I say, 10 West Australian ports receive cruise vessels pre-COVID, and that is fantastic in those days where Busselton, Albany, Geraldton received a cruise ship. It just creates vibrancy in that town as well. Finally, workforce continues to be an Achilles heel for our industry, and while there is no silver bullet, the return of working holiday makers and our international students provides us a great opportunity of getting some people into some quick short-term employment, and that is going to be our focus together with Study Perth, and I've got AHA, Angela Beachy is here as well. We're going to be investing in bar and barista courses where we skill up some of those, particularly those international students, and we connect them to hospitality operators. In the regions, we were delivering slightly longer hospitality job 3-4 day courses where we're working predominantly with some youth markets at the end of their school season, training them up and getting them into the hospitality to hospitality operators. And the recently launched West Australia.jobs portal that Carolyn raised earlier, that's a great collaboration with AHA, and I certainly do encourage you, if you do have vacancies, to place those vacancies on that website. There is a campaign that's happening, a social media campaign through June, driving consumers, job seekers to that site. So please add that to your job vacancies to that one. And closer to home, we've got a lot more that we can do with encouraging our young people into a career opportunity. We're going to be continuing the work that we're doing with the Career Skills Expo in August. We're going to continue delivering the Chef's Ambassador program, getting young chefs into schools and encouraging and motivating some of our youth in those vet cookery courses, and also we're doing some in-school careers opportunities. We will be finalising, from a planning perspective, we will be finalising our 5 destination management plans. Now, these are really important documents because these are the documents that advise government what the priorities are for your regions. We've done we're well and truly in process with 4 in the regions. We're just about to kick off the one for Destination Perth. When you have the opportunity to participate on workshops or input, please do so, because you have so much knowledge that we need to hear about what are your priorities for tourism as well. Just a couple of last areas in our planning. Between JETSI and Tourism WA, we will continue, where needed, to provide assistance to the private sector in navigating some of government's planning and approval systems. So please reach out if you need some help in that area. The team is working on some great insight projects. Last year we did glamping, we did dark sky, and we do take those learnings out to workshops in the region. So please participate if you have an interest. And finally, we do, as the Destination Development Team, we sit on a lot of committees, from, Savannah Way, I'm just trying to think of some of them here, I've got too many, Aboriginal Cultural Centre, the Trails Reference Group, the Dampier Peninsula Working Group, the Abrolhos Interagency. We take our position on those very, very seriously, because our job is to use the intel that we have and the information that you provide us to help inform some good tourism outcomes. So financial year 23 is going to be a cracking year to intensify experience development. And we're going to be doing that in partnership with industry, with our government partners, with also traditional owners, and also our peak industry bodies. And I would just like to acknowledge my team and the work they do. And 2023 is going to be a big year. So I hope you have your Wheaties, because there's a lot of work to do. Thank you.
All right, everyone, we're on the home stretch. You've got me back. In the absence of Anna Last, who's our Acting Executive Director of Events, who's in Sydney this week, I thought I'd take you through some of the great events that are taking place in the next financial year. We have a bumper year ahead of us. Really exciting to see 30 major events and regional events coming to us over the next 12 months, which are expected to generate around $150 million in visitor expenditure and driving anticipated visitation of around 250,000 visitors. So as you can see from Mel and to Renata's input this evening, there is just so much happening across the agency to support industry. Events we all get very excited about because they bring an opportunity to leverage a huge amount of visitation, regional dispersal and economic spend whilst they're here. So Sorry, let me just move forward here. A total of 11 events actually during that COVID period were retained, and due to the, I guess, the effects of COVID, they are now reinstated over the next financial year. These events include the ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup, which we're excited to welcome later this year, the Australian Youth Water Polo World Championships, there's a lot of championships, UFC Ultimate Fighting Championships, the Aussies, the Surf Life Saving Championships, Australia-New Zealand Railways Golf Championships, they keep coming, National Air Ballooning Championships. I should be playing that song, We Are the Champions. Busselton Festival of Triathlon, we are runners as well. Australian Masters Games, Australian Athletics Championships, BMX National Championships, and Unisport Nationals, just to name a few. We continue to leverage the beautiful and extraordinary Optus Stadium, one of the world's best stadium experiences on the planet, with a renewed focus on AFL marketing off the back of the success of hosting the AFL 2021 Grand Final, and what an event that was. Uplift in funding announced through the state budget included a new $20 million major events fund over the next 4 financial years to support major events and business events. So stay tuned on many more announcements ahead of us. So I'm not going to go through all of these after all those championships. I think you've had enough of me. But what certainly has been a tough couple of years, no doubt. We are excited to be welcoming back such a huge amount of events in the next year. There's way too many to list here, but as you can see, some of the highlights on the Tourism WA events calendar for 22-23 are up on the screen, and I'll go through a few of them in detail in just a moment. What's important to note is the regional events scheme and the regional Aboriginal events scheme as well. Yesterday, in fact, the Deputy Premier and the Minister for Regional Development announced a total of 68 regional events which have been awarded nearly $1 million in funding through 22-23 regional events schemes, and that's a really important initiative. And a total of close to 250,000 visitors are expected to attend those regional events over the next 12 months as well. So fantastic news. Applications for the next regional events scheme for 23-24 will open in August later this year. What have we got here? So strategic priorities over the next financial year. Through major and regional events, Tourism WA aims to provide tourists a time-specific reason to visit the state. As I said earlier, that hook to book, which we know drives immediate visitation. So our key strategic priorities within the event space are really to continue to secure major blockbuster events here at Optus Stadium, to support the return of mass participation events, to drive that high visitation and hotel occupancy, which is so important to many of you in the room and that are joining us online, to develop a thriving arts and culture program, which is also really important to underpin our events strategy, and to continue to build an attractive and diverse calendar in the years ahead. Winter Live. We came together for a small industry briefing about a number of weeks ago, where we launched the Winter Live campaign on the 11th of May, in fact, together with our friends and close working partners here at Optus Stadium. The campaign was created in conjunction with Venues Live to promote Perth's star-studded lineup of blockbuster events taking place here in the stadium this winter. The campaign leverages upcoming top-tier international and national events, including the all-important Game 2. I don't know who watched the State Origin last night. I certainly did. Go the Blues, we lost. But it was an awesome game. It was full of energy at the Accor Stadium in Sydney, and I think we can do it better here. So I'm excited to work towards the 26th of June to welcome the two teams to fight it out for the second game. They do say that 70% of the team that wins the first game goes on to win the final. That was a statistic last night, so let's see if we can beat that. The Wallabies and England Rugby Union match, which is incredible, due to be played here on the 2nd of July, and Icon Perth's Festival of International Football over the the weekend of the 22nd, 23rd of July. And we also have 9 upcoming AFL matches, all taking place over the next couple of months. And how well is Freo doing? All eyes are on Western Australia. The Winter Live campaign focuses on Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane audiences, dovetailing what Mel was saying before about those key 3 states over east, and builds on the Wander Out Yonder activity currently in market on the East Coast. Our objective is to boost out-of-state event visitation and drive economic impact and benefits across airlines, hotels, hospitality, tours, attractions and transport. And this campaign is supported by Optus Stadium that I mentioned before via a complementary digital media schedule to drive conversion of event ticket and travel packages, and that's tracking very well. You may have heard of this mysterious event taking place called Solar Eclipse in April of 2023. I know that this is gearing up to be quite an extraordinary event, and is expected to attract thousands of visitors to travel to Exmouth and surrounds to witness one of nature's most spectacular natural events. I know that Manny and the team of Australia's Coral Coast are waiting in anticipation for this exciting phenomenon. Tourism WA plans to engage an event management company to coordinate, curate and market and deliver a series of events that will showcase the region and its natural wonders, really taking the opportunity to capture this unique moment in time and generating a program of activity for visitors around the total solar eclipse, both pre and post and during. We know the capacity limitations of the region, and the events included in the final event program are not intended to drive additional visitation, but it's to ensure that those that are visiting the region are really engaged and they have the best impression and experience that we can possibly deliver. The proposed festival of events will coincide with the total solar eclipse, which will occur on Thursday, the 20th of April, around 11:27 a.m. Set your clocks now. And that's going to be occurring in Exmouth, as well as activity to occur in neighbouring destinations such as Carnarvon and Onslow, which will also experience partial solar eclipse and a high capacity of visitors as well. So the objectives of this festival are to bring together existing and proposed events happening in the region under one umbrella of an event program, to strengthen and add value to that visitor experience that I just mentioned, and to offer visitors an exceptional experience in the region, and assisting to lengthen the stay of visitors into the region, ensuring that economic return is realised. So, it's a thank you from me. As you can see, across the team, the entire agency, led by our wonderful Chair, Di Bain, and our Board of Commissioners, we are well into the year. As you can see, there is an enormous amount of work being done, not just by the agency, but collaboratively across industry. And I think it is all about working together as one team. And as we build on that momentum, I can really feel the trust that is starting to gravitate across industry. And I think with that trust, we will be a force to be reckoned with, not just here locally, not just from an interstate perspective, but globally. We will start to resonate. And I feel that Western Australia is on the cusp of great opportunity and great return for our economy, but most importantly, an extraordinary place to visit for the people that we're trying to attract to our wonderful state. I lead with great confidence. I feel that we have a wonderful team and an industry that speaks for itself. And I'm certainly energised. I can feel that our new brand and the alliance of all the great work that we're doing together will come together in the months ahead, And I already feel that we're gaining great traction. We're getting attention from the other states. People across the globe are wanting to know what we're doing and why we're doing things so differently here. But for me, it's about a sense of positivity. It's ensuring that our tone of voice is professional, that we are excited by what we're doing every single day. And I really just want to thank you for showing up this evening. And for those of you online, a huge thank you for tuning in. I am standing between us and networking and a few glasses of wine. So thank you again and have a lovely evening.